This is a story that came out December 28th, 2018, USA Today. Opioids kill kids too through accidental overdose, suicide, and homicide. All right. Almost 9,000 children and teenagers died from opioid poisoning from 1999 to 2016, and annual deaths increased threefold over the 18 years. A team of researchers at Yale University reported Friday. I bet you they're undercounting that number, y'all. The findings suggest that opioid will likely continue. Of course, plague that's going on, we know that's going to continue. The team said unless legislators, public health officials, doctors, and parents do more to keep the drug out of the hands of young people. A lot of these young people steal their parents' prescription drugs. More than 80% of the deaths to children and teens were unintentional, the researchers reported in the Journal of the American Medical Association. 5% were from suicides and about 2% from homicide. Nearly a quarter of children under 5 and 35% of those younger than 1 were the victims of homicide. Heroin was the cause of death for 24% of deaths to teens 15 to 19 years old. Between 2014 and 2016, synthetic opioids led to the death of nearly a third of all prescription and illegal opioid deaths among older teens. The Yale researcher found that methadone was associated with 36% of the children's death. In many cases, parents and other adults in the children's lives use methadone to manage pain or treat addiction. The risk of children misusing other people's methadone is particularly relevant, the researcher wrote, as more people with opioid use disorder are getting medication as part of their treatment. That means more children will be exposed to methadone. And okay, well, yeah, that's true. But any adult that is using meds, you should know to keep your medicine out of the reach of your children. That should be common sense. The mortality rate for methadone peaked in 2007, however, and has been declining since. The Food and Drug Administration issued a public health advisory in 2006 warning doctors about the use of methadone for pain. Dr. Mark Fishman is an addiction psychiatrist and professor at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine who treats teens and young adults with opioid use disorder. He says the results are alarming because deaths to children and teens are increasing the same way as they are for adults. They start with pills, turn to heroin, and die from synthetic opioid painkiller fentanyl. Where are these young children getting the money for street drugs? Young people also seek treatment far less than adults, Fishman said, which makes it harder to track youth opioid use. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that doctors prescribe teen medication-assisted treatment for opioid addiction. Even though we're treating patients better than with medication, it is a wake-up call to be as careful with these medications than any other, Fishman says. Jada Walker, a Kentucky woman who used methadone to treat an addiction to opioids, told USA Today Network in 2016 that she kept her methadone in a lockbox so it was safe from her young children. Fishman said that's exactly what patients using medication-assisted treatment need to do. There are some encouraging signs in the numbers. The National Institute for Drug Abuse reported this month that teen opioid misuse has fallen to a record low in the 43-year history of monitoring the Future survey. The use of prescription opioids and other narcotics, other than heroin, in previous years is at 3.4% among 12th graders, a significant drop from 4.2% in 2017. Last year was the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Youth Risk Behavior Survey included a question about the misuse of prescription opioids. 14% of U.S. high school students and nearly 1 in 7 reported ever misusing prescription opioids. Will illicit opioid use at generally the lowest in the history of the survey. It is possible that being in high school offers a protective effect against opioid misuse and addiction. Well, I don't know. A lot of these teens do exchange drugs. I saw that when I was in school. All right, so this is just somebody that's been in recovery from opioids. I want to just go down a little. Only 1.7% of high school seniors reported misusing Vicodin in the past year, down from a peak of 10.5% 15 years ago. 1 in 25,012 graders reported using heroin in the past year. Nearly 36% of all opioid overdose deaths in the United States involve a prescription opioid. Such deaths have increased by about 5 times since 1999. More than 200,000 people died from drug overdose related to prescription opioids from 1999 to 2017. There were more than 17,000 overdose deaths from prescription opioids in 2017. Right now, the fentanyl is your leading cause in drug overdoses, and I'm not surprised that children and teens are impacted because you know what? They passed this stuff out like candy not long ago. And people were selling the drugs, having drug parties, sharing the drugs. So it's not shocking that why wouldn't the younger generation be impacted by it as well? Of course they are. It would only make perfectly good sense. And as long as fentanyl is on the rise, I would expect it's going to probably be more deaths among children and teens. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.